hands would be one of our class rules that we will have to implement in this in this class. That is, when I am asking a yes or no question, okay, when I am asking a yes or no question, if you are answering in affirmative, or you are answering a yes answer to that question, just simply raise your hand. Okay, so lower your hands first. Okay, there are three students still that are raising their hands. Please lower your hands. There are two. Okay, again. There's someone that is still raising his hand. Okay. So, again, remember that when we are, when we raising your hands, okay, raise hands will be used to answer yes to a yes or no answer. Okay, that's one use of raise hands in our class. Okay, and number two, you can also use that. Okay, you can also use that raise hands feature when you are trying to ask a question. When you want to ask a question while while I am talking, or while I'm discussing on something, you can trigger me to give you the attention that you need by raising your hands. Okay? So the raise hands feature in this class would have two uses. One is to answer yes to a yes or no question, and the other one is for you to call my attention when you want to ask a certain question. Okay, is that understood?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. Okay, there. Then you can you can lower your hands, okay, when I give you the signal. Okay? Now, number two general class tool that I will always be implementing during a synchronous session, okay? Is that um, you should mute your mic, okay? You should always mute your mic whenever we are having a session, okay? You can only unmute it, okay? You can only unmute it when you have the permission to do so. So you would first ask my permission before you can unmute your mic, okay? And then after you speak, okay, after you are done speaking, um, then you have to mute it again, okay? So in that way, we can maintain, order in the class, okay? Number one thing that you have to remember with me is that I am easily distracted by noise. Okay, this is especially true when we are having a face-to-face session. Wait, I forgot something. You have to see me pala. Okay, so this is mostly true when we are having an in-person class. Okay, but since we are online, I am more distracted with the noise because I am wearing a headset. Okay, and I can really hear anything. Okay, while if you forget to mute your mic. Okay, so please do turn your mic off. Okay, every time, so that you will not be a distraction to everyone, most especially me. Okay, so is that understood? Okay. Okay. So you can now lower your hands. Okay. So okay, so those are the few those are the few rules, okay, that I would like to implement. Since we need them now to start our to start our class, to start our synchronous session. But I'll be discussing some of those rules in detail in a separate recorded orientation video that I would send you, okay, later. Okay, I am just working on it. Okay, and one another thing that I would like to discuss before we actually start our lesson, okay, is the use of OneNote. Okay, so I am on the process of writing a a guide on how to navigate everything here, okay, in OneNote. But I would also like to demonstrate how do you do things. Okay, so I'll be showing my screen off. There. Can you see my screen? Okay. So as I announced yesterday, like lower your hands. As I announced yesterday, I was able to set up your class notebook already. Okay. So if you would be looking at your teams, for example, this is your Teams app. Okay. This should be your Teams app. Um, if you click this one, okay, the class notebook tab, okay, you should be able to see this one, okay. So this should be your class notebook, okay. But this opens in Teams app. Again, I recommended that you install, okay, you install the OneNote app into your workstation, so that you can fully use the features of the OneNote, okay, inside your classroom. One thing that you would have to remember, okay, moving forward, is that um, you would be working on the class notebook, especially with the homework side of our lesson, okay. More extensively, okay, so that you need to use most of the features. And for example, in this case, the screen is too small, okay, for you to work on. Because for example, for you to navigate here, okay, you need to have to use this part of the screen. Okay? You need to use this part of the screen in order for you to navigate. For example, to go to the content library, you have to click this one, this button, and then go to the content library, and then you would have to browse whatever content that is here. Okay? And in this case, this would be your sections. Okay? Here are your sections, and this would be your pages. Okay? So, for example, we have here the content library. Under the content library, we have week one, where you should be able to see, for example, a lecture here. Okay, later I will put in some lecture here. Okay, so you would have a very small screen for you to work on. Okay, although you can make this collapse. Okay, so that you have a bigger screen. You will have a bigger screen if you actually use the OneNote app. This one. Okay, so here's the thing. In order for you to open this in the OneNote app, okay, and then from there on, you would be able to do that permanently. Okay. So once you first open the class notebook in your Teams app, okay, and then after opening this class notebook in the Teams app, you have to click this one, okay, and then click this drop down button, and then click open in desktop app. Okay, is that understood? Were you able to follow? Okay. Good. Now, but that requires you to first install the OneNote app into your computer, because if your computer has no OneNote app to start with, this would not open anything. Okay? So you need to first just install the OneNote app into your computer. So in my past post, I have already I have given you a link on where to download the installer for the for the OneNote app. Okay, and still, if you have questions about that, please do send me a message. Okay, I would try my best to help you. Okay, for example, last week someone was asking me about installing um, the OneNote app into the Mac. Okay, and unfortunately, I have too few experiences in using a Mac. Okay, but still, I would like to help if I can. Okay, just let me know if what problems you are encountering. Okay, so there. So now, if you are now able to open, okay, if you will now be able to open your OneNote app into your computer, you would see something like this. Okay, you would see it would open the notebook at this point. Although there would be significant differences in how our notebooks look like. Okay, for example, I have too many tabs here because I have access to each and every private notebooks that you have. Okay, but what you would be seeing in your own notebook would be something like three spaces. Okay, one contains your collaboration space. Okay, the other contains your content library. Okay, and the other is your private space. Okay, for example, I would be looking into Mr. De Los Reyes notebook. Okay, I should be able to see two sections. Okay, so the first section, excuse me, the first section would be has been named handouts and class notes. Okay, and the second section would be the homeworks. Okay, excuse me. Now, I would like to um, I would not like to actually dictate how you would actually use your private space. Okay, except of course for the homework, because the homework is something that I would regularly check on. Okay, that's because that's a homework. Okay, that's a space where you would I know you would where I would give some questions. Okay, and then you would be answering those questions in this space. Okay, so um the homework is something is one part of your notebook that I would really have to dictate you on how to use it. Okay, but for the rest of the no, for the rest of the notebooks, okay, I won't really have to be dictating to you what you would have to do with them. Okay, I would just like to make some recommendations. Okay, for example, I have placed here, okay, or by default, I have placed a handouts and class notes uh, section, okay, in which you can copy, okay, you can copy your own, you can obtain or you can place your own copy of your notes, okay. So um, the thing is, I would be placing your handouts in the content library. Okay, I would be placing them here in the content library. Okay, I haven't yet placed it yet here. Okay, but if you would be wondering how should it look like, let's take an example from my previous classes notebook. Okay, so this is the content library of my previous class in control systems. Okay, and as you can see, in under the content library, okay, I have various sections. Okay, where I placed an announcement section. Okay, I will not be placing something like this probably in your own notebook. Okay, or I would see. Okay, because I have put in this case, I have put just a general announcement for the course. Okay. Which this one I can do with the teams. Okay. Although the advantage of actually placing it here will not require you to go over teams and read back everything else. Especially this should be a handy reference for you to look on. Okay. So this is the course notes basically. Okay. I call this the close notes. Where I placed YouTube links, YouTube playlist links, okay, to all the videos that we have used for the class. The course calendar, okay, in which I have placed the due dates, okay. So probably I'll do something like this, okay. But I would not name it as announcement, okay. I would probably name them as course notes, basically. Okay. So I would be placing something like this into your notebook. Okay. And as you can see, under the announcement section, I have three pages. Okay, which contains the course notes. This is a special announcement, which contains um, what would happen if my students join the assembly last term. Okay, but this one is a detailed instruction on how you can actually take your quiz. So I'll be also placing something like this uh, on your content library. Okay. Now, let's click this one. Let's click this one so that we can unpin this, and then we will have a larger screen. Okay. And also this one, since this is just your tools. Okay. We can while reading, we can actually unpin that one so that we will have a larger screen. Okay. So then let's adjust our view. Let's adjust it to the page width so that I can read the entire page. Okay. There. Okay. So so that's the first one. Okay. These teacher notes actually are notes or are the notes that I have used during the lecture classes, which contains my scribbles. So as you can see, there are scribbles all over the place. Okay, there are doodles all over the place, and that is what I have used during the discussion, okay, during synchronous sessions. Okay, so I have kept it in one place. Okay, so that student can have references to them. Okay, so there. Okay. And then these are your reading materials for the course. Okay. So, for example, in week 1, okay, you would have 4 topics. I'll start it with the what do you call this? The student outcomes or the expected outcomes after the lesson. Okay. And then the rest of the elements would be referenced by the unit number. For example, this is lesson 1.1. Okay, which is about basic concepts of control systems, um, and so on and so forth. Okay, so what would happen is that each of the weeks would have would be assigned different sections. Okay, they would be assigned different sections so that you can organize your lesson per week. Okay. Um, Now, what would happen is that you cannot do anything here. Okay. For example, if you want to take notes or if you want to own some of the things that you would like to write here, okay, you would not be able to do anything. Okay. What would happen is that if it is under the content library, you would just be reading it. Okay, it would just be a reading material, and then you will not be able to say, for example, write your own thoughts about the lesson. Okay, um, or something like insert a few materials that you would like to read for additional information about that lesson. Okay, but you can copy this, okay, into your hands out page. Okay, or handouts page. Okay? So, again, to navigate, you need to click this one, okay? Which takes you up the, the class notebook, okay? And then click your own, go to your classroom and your notebooks, handout and class notes section. And then you can make a copy of this one. For example, here. Okay. So the class notebook of my students last term is very different. Okay. It contains 4 sections. In your case, it only contains 2 because that's all we need. Okay. So to demonstrate that, we can copy those pages. For example, I can copy these pages by selecting all of them. So select, for example, a page. And then if I would like to copy, I'm sorry, if I would like to copy everything, say for example, from 1.1 out to 1.4, okay, I can simply select them by pressing, by clicking and at the same time pressing Shift. Okay, here, for example. Okay, so that selects the 4 of them. Okay, is that clear? Okay. Okay, so lower your hands. And then right click. Okay, right click on that. And then copy. Okay, so click copy. And then go to your own page. Okay, let's, for example, this is my page. This is the handouts page. Okay, handout section. And then here, okay, I can right click on this part of the screen. Okay, and then click paste. Okay, so now you have the 4 pages under your handouts section, and they would now be in your own full control. That means you can do anything with that one. Like for example, you can draw something. Okay, let's say I would like to make some drawing. For example, I would say that this is important because teacher told us so, that this is important to remember. Right? Okay, so something like that would be very useful because this would be your custom notebook. Okay, so the experience is the experience somewhat simulates what you have with the traditional tangible notebook that you had before when we are having our face-to-face class. Okay, except that this time you would be if you don't have a writing tablet, you would be writing using your mouse, for example, or you may not be writing anything at all. You may be typing, okay? Uh, you may be um, you may be typing in your notes, okay? Or you may be say for example, write your notes in a paper and then taking a picture of it and then insert it here, okay? So that's how you can use your class notebook. That's how you can use the handout and class notes. Okay, so that's one thing that I would recommend with you. Okay. Now another thing is that you can actually extend this. Okay, by adding sections. Okay, and just make sure that that the homework section is unaltered or uh, because I'll be the one adding sections, adding pages to here. Okay, I would be sending you your homeworks. Okay, through Teams. Okay? But basically, you can answer your homework here in your OneNote. Okay? Because after I send it to you using Teams, what would happen is that you can actually edit that homework uh, in this space, in this homework space. Okay? Is that understood? Okay. 13 responded with yes. Okay. So that's your class notebook. Okay. And another thing is that, by the way, may I ask who among you, as of now, have installed their class notebook? I mean their OneNote app. Don't lower your hands until I give the signal. So 9, 10, 11 installed their OneNote app. 12, 13. So 13 out of 23, I think, that of you have installed the OneNote app. 16. Okay. Okay, very good. So, can you open it right now? Let's do some little activity. Okay. Lower your hands. Sorry. Let's do a little activity on your class note. Okay. Please open your class notebook. Okay. Again, you have to be able to open your class notebook into OneNote app. You have to first go to your um, go to Teams. Okay. Click this class notebook. Okay. And then click this drop down here. Okay. And then open in desktop app. Okay. So there. Now, what we will do is this. Okay, we will try to see what the collaboration space would do. Okay? So, in the collaboration space, I would create a section. Okay? So, simply I'll call the section as week. Sorry. I'll call the section week 2. Okay? Now, and then I'll call this page as exercise using Collab Space. Okay. Can you see who is raising his hand? He lowered it down. Okay. Now, can you see Can you see the one that I have just created on the screen? Okay. Now, in this space, I would like you to do the following. Okay. I would like you to do the following. Follow the format that I have used. Today, I would like you to type this one. I am Armil Monsura, student of Advanced Engineering Math for ECE. Section ECE 191. Okay. I would like you to create this text box here. Okay, by typing the information that applies to you. For example, this should be your name, okay, and this should be your class. And basically, you just have to change one information because the only information that is different from ours is the no, is the name. Okay. So if your class notebook is already open, okay, you can go to this section and then type in this information. Okay. And let's see who are those that can actually type in the information that they are required to type on. Okay? So go. I'll wait for siguro mga 10 minutes for you to accomplish this. Please do lower hands na. So you might need some time. Although here now I can see some of the information already being added. Okay, you might need some time to be able to see them fully. Okay, because this thing needs to synchronize. Okay, so and that depends on both our internet connection and how they connect to the Microsoft server. Okay, so as of now I can see um, Miss Balmoro's information. Okay. The one that is complete. I'm talking about that the one that is already complete. Okay, I can probably go try to sync this one. So I can see more of them. Try to adjust the width of so please try to adjust the width of the text box so that you can it would only occupy a single line. Okay, everything that you have written should occupy a single line. But probably you have a little space to work on or little window to work on because you might probably working on your phones. Okay, and that is fine for now. Okay, but someone who wrote here. Okay, we are writing under week 2 section. So please, whoever this is, please do delete this one. Okay, and try to work on here. Okay, I'll try to sync once more. Okay. While you're working on this, I'll ask that I'll be excused for a little while. I'll just get some water. Okay, my throat is kind of dry. Okay, so I'll just I'll be back in say 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so just continue working on this one. Hello, and I'm back. Okay, what happened? So let's try to sync this one more. Ayan. So we can now see some of you. Okay, but this demonstrates how the collaboration space would look like. Okay, so the thing is, some of you actually created new pages. I just asked you to write under this exercise using Collab section, but that's okay. You just have to transfer your thing from this into this. Okay, so okay. So again, as you can see here, you can see how the collaboration space work. They update in real time. Okay, when I ask you to enter information into this collaboration space section, um, they would be updated in real time. Okay, so uh, we might probably be using this collaboration space in times that, for example, we need to work on work on some seat works. Okay, for example, we have a seat work. Okay, I ask you to solve something. Okay, and what would happen is that you may um, solve that problem. Okay, you may solve that problem uh, inside. Uh, Someone asked, hindi pa ito po ako kasali sa class notebook. Okay. Uh, who among of you are having some problems pa with the notebook? Aside from Mr. Manabat. Miss Sarmiento, do you also have a problem with with the class notebook? So it's just Mr. Manabat and Miss and Mr. David and Mr. Garrido. So okay. Um, Here's the thing. I actually had set this up last Monday. Today's Tuesday, right? I have set this up last yesterday, I think. So actually, I was thinking that after 24 hours, everything has been already set. Okay, and that your class notes would be readily accessible uh, here. But I'll first ask Mr. Manabat. What appears on your what appears when you in our teams, okay? What appears here when you click class notebook?
Eh, sir, nag-download lang po ako ng OneNote.
Nag-download ng
OneNote.
but first you have to you have to open the class notebook here in the Teams. In your Teams app, okay, go to this tab so that you can see this one first. Can you do it for as of now?
Wala po ngayon, sir eh.
What appears?
Wala po, details lang po. Nakaputin.
Sige, let's talk it out later in the class. Later after the class pala. Okay? So, do send me a screenshot of what appears when you click that that tab in your Teams. Okay? So that I would be able to know what exactly is the error. Okay?
Ay, okay na po pala, sir.
Okay? Okay saan? Sa Teams?
Tama po.
Nag-open na sa Teams? Okay. So, there. Then, yun nga, sabi ko nga, after you open it here, so that you can open it on the OneNote app, you have to click this one, and then open it in desktop app, so that you can use the installed OneNote app into your as your class notebook. Okay. So if you will be encountering problems, okay, please do inform me about your problem so that we can resolve it. Okay. And also, it is very important that you follow directions. Okay. Wait. I'll sync this one again. Okay, and then someone edited this one. That's a problem with the with the collaboration space. Everything you can edit everything. Although I can trace whoever would do something into a page. Okay, so there. Okay, so enough about that. But as of now, you are able to see how we would able to work on, or how we will able what would you see if we actually work on, okay, the now we know who did this. He now has a name. Okay, you changed the title of my page. Okay, okay, so now you can see how you would be able to work on, and what you would be able to see while working on the collaboration space. Okay, so we'll move on with that. Okay, and then so basically that's about it. That's about everything that we have for your for your class notebook. Okay, and one last thing ko pala before I forgot. When I deploy your homeworks. Okay, your homework, I'll look for something that I have no markings yet. I know where to look for. Dun sa okay. Okay, your homework would look something like this one. Your homework would be formatted something like this. Okay? So, you would have, the question, okay? And then under that question, this is actually a table. Okay, this is a table. Okay. Now, after the question, you would have a row where you can put your answer. Okay? So, please do not change that format. Okay? Meaning, you have to write your answer here. Okay? And you have two options in writing your answer. Okay? Or in indicating your answer in this case. Okay? One is to directly type. For example, if I have to answer this question, okay, I would just simply type it is because, okay, because the question asks for a reason why. Okay, the question starts with the why, so it asks for a reason. Okay, and our reason would be something like it is because blah 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 blah, and so on and so forth. So you can type in your answer there. Okay, you can actually insert equations. Okay, so to insert an equation, okay, you can insert equation here. Most especially that we would be dealing with equations or mathematical expression later on. Say for example, we will have to write. Okay, we will have to write f of x, okay, equals x raised to 5. Okay, x. Then we need to use a script so that we can write an exponent. So we will have x and then raised to 5. Or as a shortcut for that, you can simply write x, okay, and then this symbol, and then write 5, then press space. So that becomes x raised to 5. Okay? Is that clear? Okay? Plus 3x raised to 4. Okay? Plus 2x cubed. Okay? Minus 3x squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay? Or wait. We need to write something like if your writing involves a fraction, okay, you can again insert equation. Actually, the shortcut for writing equation is by pressing, okay, for writing equations, okay, the shortcut, instead of going to the menu, insert equation, you can actually trigger the equation field by pressing alt equal, okay, simultaneously. So when you press alt equal, it triggers now your your uh, your editor to come up with an equation field. Okay? Say for example, you need to write a fraction. Okay, say for example, f of s, okay, equals, let's insert a fraction. We can do it here. Insert equation, sorry, insert equation, here, ito pala, sorry. When you are under the equation, you have this tab, equation. So we can click on that and then click this one to insert a fraction. Okay? So that you can have this fraction now. Okay? So you will now have, say for example, s plus 3, okay, over s squared plus 3s plus 2. Okay, is that understood? All right. So please lower your hands. Okay. Now, this is something that you have to learn. Okay. By the way, whatever applies here also applies in Microsoft Word. Okay. So if you are if you have already mastered the use of Microsoft Word, okay, most of the things that you can do in Microsoft Word can also be applied here, including the shortcuts. Okay. So you can use those. Okay. You can use those in order for you to edit everything or do some do your reports here. Okay. But of that's one way of working into your class notebook. Okay, into your homeworks. Okay. The other thing is what I have told you about what I have told you to prepare in my previous post. Okay. Um, Mr. Kureg is raising his hand. Do you have questions? Wala? Wala naman siguro. Okay. So, if you remember, I asked you to prepare your mobile phones for a scanner app. Okay? Because the other way to submit your reports is if you're not really comfortable with this one, especially if it would involve, say for example, drawings, okay, which you would find it difficult to draw, okay, using the computer, okay. You may want to write it on a paper, okay, and then scan it, okay, and then upload the image here, okay. Um, some examples of that would be um, let's take a look at the work of my previous students. I think I have a good one here. Um, Here. Oops. Oh no, where did it go? Yeah, something like this one. Okay, you can actually scan, and not like this because this is not scan. This is just an image. Okay, that is cropped. Okay, as you can see, there are shadows. So if you have scanned your, if you have scanned your paper properly, you would be not seeing this shadow here. Okay, so you can actually do this one if you are not really comfortable writing everything. Okay, so yeah, that's one thing that's one way. That's another way you can actually submit your work. Okay, so I am not restricting you, okay, in completely typing everything into the computer. Okay, you may also uh, physically write something into your paper, okay, and then scan it using your mobile phone, and then upload the resulting image here. Okay, is this clear? Okay, but unlike this one, okay, unlike this work that you are seeing right now, I would require you, okay, I would require you to please lower your hands, okay. Um, I would require you to discuss if this is a problem that you need to solve. For example, you have a problem like find the Laplace transform of the function, something like that. Okay. I need you to discuss your solutions and not just simply solving it like this. Okay. In your homeworks, I would not grade. I would not consider um, solutions that are written just like this. Okay, especially in your quizzes. Okay, I would ask you to discuss your solutions. Okay? And you would not get credits for solutions that are not properly discussed. Okay? Is that understood? Hi. In the future, probably in a future meeting, I would be giving you an example of just that. Okay. How I would like to see you presenting your answers or presenting your solutions. Okay. At this point, you have to learn how to put uh, into writing, okay, what you are thinking of. Okay. The thing is, we don't see each other, so I don't see your faces. Okay. While you are working, for example, in a quiz. Okay. Kasi the thing is that in our setting before, okay, I can actually observe you while taking your quiz. Okay, so that I can see how, say for example, um, how perplexed you are when solving a problem. Okay. So from there, I can make assessment. I can evaluate how much of a mastery you have achieved, okay, for a certain lesson. Okay, not really for a particular question, but for the question, for the overall mastery that you have over the quiz. Okay, and then I can correlate that with your scores. Okay, so that I can see for myself what needs to be improved in future discussion or in a future exam. Okay. In this case kasi, when you are taking your quizzes or when you're working on this, I would not be able to see you working on this. So, I would not be able to see your faces. Okay? And that would be a problem kasi I would not be, that's one tool that is taken away from me in order for me to evaluate your academic performance. Okay? So, okay? I need to see evidence of you um, obtaining mastery, or at least learning, okay, or showing that you have learned in a particular lesson, okay, by these reports. So ito na lang yung report na to ang aking pinaka evidence, okay, when I try to evaluate your performance in the subject or in the course. Okay, so that is why um we need to shift the manner by which, or we need to change the manner by which you do report your answers. And of course, here you would be given some time. Okay. For example, I don't really intend on assigning quizzes. Okay, assigning quizzes that are just within our time. Okay. I would be actually assigning quizzes. Okay, I would be assigning quizzes that are longer than um, not really for a whole day, but probably within 8 to 12 hours of a quiz. Okay? So, that would give you time to write your report. Okay? And we will do that when you don't have, when I know that you don't have a scheduled class. Okay? So, we'll probably do the schedule. Anyway, our first quiz will not come until next year. Okay? So, ang quiz 1 natin would most likely be like scheduled the first or the second week of January. Okay? So, we will have some time to talk about it pa. Okay, your schedule. Okay? But please do prepare for the first week of January. We might probably have your scheduled quiz there. Okay? So, my point is, I need you to have your reports to be as comprehensive as possible, so that I can see, okay, so that there would be evidence of you having necessary learning, okay, during this period. Okay, when we discuss a certain topic, I need to see how you were able to learn. Okay, when with these things, so that I would require you to present your reports or present your solutions in a manner that actually reflects your understanding. Okay, so again, at a later time, okay, I would be um wait lang. I would be giving you examples on how would I like to see your reports. Okay? So again, this kind of solution would not be acceptable. Okay? In our case. Yung ganito na pagkakasulat ng solution ninyo, okay, would not be acceptable with me. Okay? This is automatically wrong with me. Okay? And if this is a quiz, this would not get the full credit for the question, even if your answer is correct. Okay? If this is not well discussed, okay, if your solution is not well discussed, this is still unacceptable. Okay? Is that clear? Okay, so please lower your hands. Okay, going back to your notebook. Okay, so I think those are the things that you need to know as of now, okay? Before we can actually jump in to our lesson, okay? Um, and again, in all of our sessions or our discussions, okay? And all throughout the course, I would always remind you that if you would be encountering problems, okay, any sort of a problem that would affect your ability to work on the things that that I have asked you to do, okay, please do inform me, okay. Um, and if you are to inform me of that, please do not wait the last minute to inform me about your problem. Okay, for example, we have a deadline of submitting your homework. Okay, and I have given you, say, for example, 5 weeks, okay, to completely submit your first homework. Okay, but um, you have determined that you would be able to submit late. Okay, and you only inform me uh, 30 minutes before the submission deadline. Okay, I might find it hard to consider that. Okay, considering the 5 week period that that you have been allotted in order for you to submit the homework. Okay. For one thing, you could have done that homework weeks before. Okay, and you should not have waited for the week 5 to work on the said activity on the homework. Okay, and then on the time that you are working on you're ready to work on your homework, there goes out your internet. Mawawalan kayo ng internet, so hindi kayo makakapag-submit. So for me, it's actually not really that acceptable. Okay. Um, Although I would be giving you a very long timelines for especially the homeworks. Okay. Um, please do not use that long timeline to actually delay your work. Okay? If you are available or if you are able to, please work on your tasks. Okay? Um, sorry, ngayon ko lang nabasa yung message ni Marquez. I'll talk to Mr. Marquez later on. Ngayon ko lang nabasa yung message niya. Anyway, as I was pointing out, I will be giving you a long deadlines or long deadlines for long due dates for working on your homeworks. Okay? But do not construe it, okay? To mean that you actually have that much time to work on them. Okay? Remember that your homeworks accumulate almost weekly. Actually, I am envisioning it to be of weekly duration. Okay? O weekly periodic update. Ibig sabihin every week dapat may homework kayo. Okay? For example, your week 1 or your first homework, okay, which would be given this week, okay, would actually be submitted before before week 7, or actually on the week 7. That's what I am seeing. That's how I am seeing it now. Okay. So yung week 2 homework natin would actually be no. I am using two kinds of deadline here. Okay. What you have to remember is that I am using two kinds of deadline. Okay. One is I call a soft deadline, and the other one is called a hard deadline. Okay. When I say soft deadline, okay, it means you are to submit the homework on a soft deadline if you can. But if you cannot submit that on that soft deadline, then you can have until the hard deadline, okay, to submit that homework. Is that clear? Okay, let me add a page here. Okay. So I have two deadlines, no? Two deadlines or due dates. Can you see what I am writing here? Nakikita niyo ba yung sinusulat ko? Okay. So yung isang type ng deadline natin is soft deadline, okay? And the other one is the hard deadline. Okay. Just to give you a preview, pero bibigyan ko kayo ng full list of schedule nito. I'll be giving you a full school calendar, a full course calendar. I call it course calendar. Okay, for example, yung week 2 homework natin, okay? Yung week 2 homework natin would have a soft deadline just before quiz 2. I mean quiz 1. Okay? That means if we schedule, for example, your those raising their hands, do you have questions? Mr. Mangapit, may question ba Mr. Mangapit? Wala naman. Okay, please do remember to lower your hands kapag binigay ko na yung signal. Okay? So, there. So, before quiz 1, before our scheduled quiz 1, okay? Your week 2 homework would be required to be submitted. Would be encouraged to be submitted. Okay? The idea behind that is that of course you need to work on week 2 homework so that you can prepare for quiz 1. Because some of quiz 1 would actually deal with the questions given in week 2. Okay? But we will set the hard deadline. Okay? Your quiz 1 would come in week 4, I think. Okay? Or week 5. Whatever. We will just choose a date, a specific date for that, within that week, where we can submit where we can conduct quiz 1. Okay? Your hard deadline, okay? Your hard Hindi ko man. Okay. The hard deadline for this, or the hard deadline would be on week 7. Whatever this is set Saturday of that week 7 calendar. Okay? Kaya lang, what happens is that every homework, okay, that is assigned before week 7, okay, are actually would have the same hard deadline. Okay? For example, pag nag-assign tayo ng homework sa week 3, okay, and week 4, okay, all of this would actually be no, since your quiz 1 would fall on a week 4, for example, this is just example. Okay, so this would not be the final this would not be the final dates, okay? But here, since your soft deadline would fall on the week 4, so hindi kasama yung week 4. So it's just week 2 and week 3. Okay? So yung homeworks assigned on week 2 and week 3 would have a soft due date before week 4. Okay? And then yung week 5, week 6, and week 7 homeworks, okay, would be set before quiz 2, which is probably on week 7 itself. Okay? Or no, hindi, baka malito ba ako? Yan. Okay, so so ito. Yung the homeworks on pull up lang week 4. Yan, week 4, week 5 and week 6 would have soft due dates before quiz 2, which might probably fall on a week 7. Okay? But everything here, okay, from week 2 to week 6 would have a hard deadline on week 7. Okay. So what does that mean? If the deadline is considered a soft deadline, it means that you are encouraged to submit it. But if you would not be able to submit it at that time, then you have still some more days to submit that work. Okay? But after the hard deadline, you would not be able to submit that work anymore. Is that clear? Yung difference ng dalawa? Okay, so please lower your hands down. Okay. So as you can see, this now requires some planning kasi although baka instinct nyo kasi na hindi, gagawin ko na lang yung work ko sa week 7 so that I can submit it on week 7. Okay? But remember that on week 7 you have how many homeworks that would lapse into deadline. That's 5 homeworks. Okay? Now, at that point, and week 7 na, you might be overwhelmed, okay, with the work that you need, okay, with the work that you need in order for you to submit on time, okay, which is not healthy, which is incorrect, okay, which is not properly executed, okay. The thing is that I would be giving you your your course calendar in order for you to plan on how to time everything, on how to make time for everything. Okay? if you fail to recognize this to be something more of a way to plan, and you just see this as something like this is how long I have got, then you might be forcing your way to work on all of this on 1 week, and then that's the time now that you are now overwhelmed with everything. Yes, Mr. Martinez, do you have questions? Wala siyang question. Okay. So, there. This is probably how your course would look like. This is how our deadlines would actually be set. Okay. But I will be giving you the full details in a separate announcement. Okay. So, I would like you to look at this as the soft and hard deadline concept is not really a way for you to get away with the work. Okay? It's actually a way for you to plan. Okay? Tandaan nyo na possible na baka pag dumating tong hard deadline, dun dumating yung problema nyo. Like for example, mawalan kayo ng internet. Or merong sa inyo, merong magkasakit or something like that na wag naman sana. Okay? So, I suggest not to put everything or every activity that you have off until that deadline. Okay? Is that clear? Okay, please lower your hands. So, there. That's how your deadlines would actually work. Okay. And one thing that you also have to remember about our course is that we will have no midterm exams. Okay, hindi tayo mag-midterm exams. We will just have the one major exam, which is the final exams. Okay. And I'm planning to have 4 quizzes. Okay. Again, I'll be giving you a schedule on this one. No? So I'll have 4 quizzes. We will have 4 quizzes, weekly homeworks, and one major exam, which is the final exam. So that would be the set of activities that I would require you to submit. Okay. And we will obtain your grades from there. Okay. So more details of that will be coming in a recorded lecture. Okay. So from what you have already heard from me, are you thinking of some questions or concerns right now? Okay, so it seems wala. Okay, so but again, if you have concerns, please do inform me. Okay, so ayan. Although I would like, kasi nasa Collab Space yan. Lalagay ko pala to sa content library. Gagawa tayo. I'll be creating a section here called whiteboard. Okay. This is where I would do my some of my scribbles para all of them are here. Okay. So, ayun, later na yan. Okay. So, I think that's those are the things that you do need to know as of now. Okay. all other things I would be giving in a recorded lecture later siguro, later in the week. Okay. Meron lang talaga ako natapos na urgent na bagay that's really bugging me down for weeks already. So kailangan matapos ko na talaga siya. And if I'm done with this, I would be able to give more focus on this course. Okay. So ayun. Now, ano ba nasa isip ko? Ayun. We will in this course pala. Okay. I would be giving a detailed discussion on the course content or what topics we will be discussing, especially the course syllabus. Okay. Pero bibigyan ko lang kayo ng preview on what to expect. Okay. Dahil dito na ako sulat, so tatapusin ko na siya dito. Okay. So topics to be discussed. Advanced engineering mathematics covers topics that are or covers tools in engineering mathematics. Okay, that has applications in various engineering problems. Okay, we will start things off by in a discussion of complex numbers. Okay. And functions or complex functions. Okay. Although we would actually not one thing that we will not discuss in this regard is the calculus of complex functions. Okay. We will simply discuss what are complex functions and how do we evaluate complex functions. Okay. But we will not discuss the calculus of complex function. That is, how do we find the derivative of complex functions, and how would we integrate complex functions? Okay, so we will not discuss that. That actually covers that those topics are actually major advanced for our needs. Okay, I would like to go through first with those topics that are needed in your future course. Okay. Especially yung immediate courses that are that requires this course as prerequisites. Okay? Because most probably I would be the one teaching you those courses. Okay? You have seen that the one earlier, yung control systems. I'm right now I'm currently the one teaching control systems, and as well as signal processing. Okay, so those two things are the immediate courses that requires this course as a prerequisite. Okay, so that I would really know what tools do we need to study. Okay, and that is why I need you to actually learn from this one. Kasi if you will not learn from here, we would be having a difficult time in understanding the future courses that requires this as a prerequisite. Okay, so that's one topic. Okay. The next one is the Laplace transform. Okay. Have you heard of this? Because it's probably have been discussed in your differential equations course. Who among you have already encountered or heard Laplace transforms? Okay. Those who answered in affirmative, can you answer in chat? Did you discuss this in the differential equations?
Di na po umabot, sir.
Hindi na umabot. So, paano nyo siya narinig? As in, dinig lang.
Sa quiz show po ng ISEP.
Okay. Oh, good. So, there. Yeah, because Laplace transform is one common tool that is used by engineers. Okay? So, that is why the Laplace transform is actually a common topic or a very basic topic that an engineer, especially ECEs, would need to understand. Okay, so Laplace transform. But aside from that, Laplace transform, we will also have to study Fourier transform. And we will have to differentiate between the two. Okay. In fact, there are many transform techniques that are used in mathematics. Okay. Pero itong dalawang to, these two, are the most common. Or, I mean, the most useful in our field, the ECE. Okay. So, we will discuss these two techniques. Now, at this point, medyo torn ako, okay, with what topics to come after these two topics. Okay. For one thing, your course comes with a laboratory component. Who among these are enrolled in the laboratory course? Which ako rin naman na may hawak. Okay. So, sige. Sige, lower your hands. I am torn here kasi traditionally, in this course, this is the only time in the course where we can actually discuss linear algebra. Okay? We can actually discuss linear algebra here in this course. Okay? But that is before that we don't have a laboratory component for ano. Now, I am thinking of not discussing linear algebra here, but instead discussing linear algebra in the other course. Okay? So, what you would be able to observe or what you would be able to experience here in the lecture and the laboratory course is that we would be discussing two different sets of topics for the lecture course and the Laplace and the laboratory class. Okay? Baka nasanay kasi kayo sa mga may lecture at may lab. That is, kung ano yung lesson sa lecture, has a counterpart activity sa laboratory. Baka ganun yung orientation ninyo in your previous courses that have a that has lecture laboratory components. Okay. In this case, your lecture topics would actually I am thinking of having your lecture topics to be fully independent that of your laboratory topics. Okay. So in the laboratory topics, we would discuss topics that can be done by numerical solution and hence can be programmed. Okay? That includes linear algebra. So I am thinking that I would not be discussing linear algebra in the lecture course. Instead, I'll just fully discuss it in the laboratory course. Okay? And on this part, we can proceed with the discussion on power series. Solutions of differential equations. Because supposedly I have to discuss linear algebra here before discussing this one. Okay, but since I would like to avoid for more efficient organization of the course, I would be skipping that linear algebra part here in the lecture and instead fully discuss everything on the laboratory course. Okay, so I think that's what we would do in this regard. Now, if we have more time, okay, we will discuss partial, differential equations. Have you discussed partial derivatives sa calculus ninyo? Okay. So it's good that you were able to discuss. Sige, pa-lower na lang yan. So it's good that you were able to discuss partial derivatives in your calculus course. But it's a different thing when you are asked kung naaalala nyo pa siya. So hopefully naaalala nyo pa siya. Okay. But now this would be different because this now deals with partial differential equations. In your differential equation course, you only covered ordinary differential equations. Okay? So, the first part of your course actually first discussed the differences between a partial differential equation and an ordinary differential equation. But then eventually, you have shifted your efforts in discussing what tools can be used or what methods can be used to solve ordinary differential equations. Okay, but in highly advanced engineering problems, you might be required to solve partial differential equations. Okay, so we need to know the basic methods. Okay, at least the basic methods. Although, in my experience, sa apat lang na to, in these 4 topics, I actually occupy the entire term. So, I don't know if you will be able to reach this one. But among these 5, this would actually require the least need to know status. Kumbaga, ito yung parang maybe if you would rank this in terms of how useful they would be in the courses that you have to take after this, these 4 are the top 4. This would come up as the ranking. Okay, that's why we need to prioritize these discussions. Okay, before we discuss those things that are not really needed in your future courses, but you would actually need it in a future stuff, like for example in your thesis. Okay, so ayun. But anyway, we would try our best to reach as far as this one. Okay. The reference book that I am using to develop the material for this course is that book by Tracy. I think what I have now, the copy that I have now is on, I'm not sure if it's on 9th edition. Okay. So the title of the book is like Advanced Engineering Mathematics. Okay. And the author is Erwin Tracy. Okay, so that's the book that I am using to develop your course materials. Okay, but this is not the reference that you can use. You can find for more books available. Okay, and see if you're lucky to find where I am obtaining the basis of the problems that I would be giving to you, especially on the major on exams and on quizzes. Okay? Kasi admittedly, I would get the homeworks, the questions to your homeworks from here. Okay? But I am sourcing questions for quizzes on different from different books. Okay? So you need to exert effort on finding this books, okay, in order for you to para makakita kayo ng mas marami pang perspective. Okay? Especially when it comes to solving problems. Okay? I would leave it to you to find yung mga PDF versions ng ano nito since we are on online class. And we're doing everything online. So I'll leave it to you to find the PDF version of this one because I am not allowed to give it to you. I did not buy my own copy. So I am not allowed to distribute this, okay? Because that's infringement. But if you download it somewhere else, then and I did not recommend that to you, but you can do it anyway. I think that's okay. Okay. So although I am not aware, do you have access ba sa library? I mean, is the library giving you the privilege of being able to download materials from somewhere? So no one answered. Is the library been communicating with you through
Yes,
email?
sir.
Okay, so the library is communicating with you through email. Try to check kung ano yung binibigay nila sa inyo kasi some of those things that they are distributing are actually links where you can actually download things. Okay, so baka dun pala makakita na kayo ng you can actually find references that you need in the courses that you are enrolled in. Okay, so ayun. So I think that's it. That's for the mini orientation that we have, and I am supposed to limit. My initial plan was to actually limit the discussion on 1 hour so that I can start the lesson right away. But the thing is that it seems that I have failed. So I have prolonged my discussion and I discussed something na so that so that I can get it out of the way na. Okay. So we'll simply start our lesson on Friday. So I would be using these two meetings, okay? This week, okay? To have to have a synchronous session. By the way, we'll call this kind of learning a synchronous session and the other one as asynchronous learning. Okay? So you should be able to see the difference so that when I can make announcements you would know what I am talking about. Okay. So I have opted to meet you in 2 synchronous sessions this week. Okay. Basically I am not required to meet you I am not required to conduct synchronous sessions every single meeting. Okay. But I did opt to do it this week because I am thinking that if we are able to discuss enough material this week, then we need not to meet for an online session next Tuesday. Because remember that next Tuesday would be the last meeting for the year. Dahil ang pasok natin is until Wednesday na lang, right? Am I correct ba? That the last meeting or the last official school schedule would be next Wednesday. That's December 23. Okay, tama. Because today is December 15 pala. Okay, so that is why I'm thinking na dapat next week we need not to we don't see the need for conducting a synchronous session dahil we were able to cover enough material for this week. So hopefully we can do that next Friday. Okay, because I would like to finish this one. Okay, I would like to finish complex numbers and complex functions this year. Okay, so that January 2021 we will start with Laplace transforms. Okay, so I hope we can do that. And anyway, whatever thing as I said to the announcement, okay, the last announcement that I have, ay mukhang hindi ko pala nasabi. Pero here's the thing, you would be provided with you would, aside from this online session, so you would be provided with recorded lectures, okay, and the reading material na nasa class notebook nga. So, I'd expect you to go through those materials. Dahil nga, expect that I would not be able to finish everything in this session. Okay? Anyway, the feel of this session, for me, the feel of this session is more like also the feel that I have when I am recording. Okay? Which is having this kind of monologue. Okay? And the only difference is the very few interactions that I have with you during the online sessions. Okay? But then, during the recorded, when I am recording a lecture, the feeling is almost the same. Okay? So, I hope you also get to stick around with the recorded lecture. Okay? You learn how to learn using those kind of materials. Okay? So that you would be able to pick up things that I would not be able to discuss in this kind of session. Okay? Um, we will not be able to completely discuss everything in online sessions. And the recorded lectures are meant to augment that unfinished business, kumbaga. Okay, so that is why even if I would not be I would not be able to discuss something here. Okay? Pero diniscuss ko naman siya dun sa recorded lecture. Okay? We consider it as something that is discussed in the class. And therefore, you would be able to use or you would be able to answer questions that relate to that topic. Okay? Even if we were not able to talk about it during the online session. Okay? That is my expectation of you. Okay? That is kaya nga meron tayong that is why we have asynchronous learning. Okay? Asynchronous learning pertains to that part of our learning session wherein I am not there to facilitate the learning, but rather you would be provided materials, okay, and then you go through the material into your own pace, okay, and your own learning. Okay? And one another thing is that kailangan you need to learn how to do independent study. Okay? But when I say independent study, it doesn't mean that you have to study alone. Okay? Ang ibig sabihin or what do we mean by independent study is that you would be less reliant on me dictating how you would learn something. But rather you thinking for yourself how to best learn a certain topic. Okay? Naintindihan ba yon? Okay. So, sige, lower your hands. When I say less reliant on me, okay, I hope na hindi lahat ng kailangan yung matutunan ay manggagaling sa akin. Okay. I really do hope that you would be able to think for yourselves on how to best learn. Okay? You will be provided with every materials that I conceive that you need to have, okay, in order for you to learn. But how you use those materials in order to actually learn, okay, it should actually be up to you. Okay, that is what we mean by independent study. Okay, so one thing that I can recommend, one thing that I can recommend is for you to actually establish study groups online. Okay? Pwede kayong bumuo ng online study group ninyo. Okay? In which you also go through the same material at the same time, try to exchange information. Okay? I'd recommend this especially with your homeworks. Okay? Instead of actually going through your homework alone, okay, why not try to do your homework collaboratively? Okay? Pwede kayong mag-group study in answering your homeworks. Okay? But it doesn't mean that you have the same answers, and the same set of reports. Again, you have to write your own report, but you can actually come up with the answers together with a certain study group. Okay? If you determine that is the best way to actually learn. Is that clear? Okay, so sige, lower your hands. So I hope that this yung dynamics on how we conduct our course would not actually be always dictated by me. Okay? Hindi ako ang end all ng learning ninyo sa course na ito. Okay? I would like you to independently think. When you say independent, it's independent of me, not independent of your classmates. Okay? Or not independent of everything else. But I should not be dictating on how you can best learn. Okay? It's actually you that knows how you can learn in the most efficient way. Okay? And that is what I mean when I say you independently make a study. Okay? But again, hindi ko sinasabi na pag nagbigay kayo ng sagot or ng report sa akin, pare-pareho nga naman kayo kasi ginawa niyo yun using a group study. No. You have to generate your own report, write your own report, but you can come up with answers, okay, together with your group. Okay. May request lang ako. If you are to do that method, please record yung online session nyo that conducts that one. Okay? Because I would like to see how you were able to conduct that one. And then that's actually one evidence that I can use in order to say no how you are actually learning in the class. And I'll be giving additional points kung makakapagbigay kayo sa akin ng mga recorded sessions of that sort of group study. Okay? So, I hope na may matanggap ako ng mga recorded sessions na gano'n. So that I'll be able to see them. Hindi naman pilitan yun, hindi naman required din. Pero I'd see to it that you would be given, you would be compensated in terms of grades. Okay, pagka nakakita ako ng mga ganong evidences from you. Okay? So, there. And finally, I cannot overemphasize the fact that I am always be telling you, okay, to communicate with me, to interact with me, whether during the online session or any time of the day. Okay. Although yung mga messages that are coming in the wee hours of the day may not be answered agad-agad. Okay. So you need some patience when you are sending your message. And as soon as I am available naman, and as soon as I am able to read your message, I am trying my best to answer whatever inquiries that you have. Okay. So please, let's make this work that we need to be interacting with each other. Okay. In the past 3 terms that we are conducting this online session, may mga students akong hindi ko pa nakita talaga. Okay? Kilala ko lang sa pangalan pero hindi ko pa nakita talaga. In fact, some of you are my students before sa isang previous subject. o sa isang previous course. Hindi ko pa kayo nakikita personally. So, ito, pamilya sa akin si David, si Kureg, si... Baka may hindi ako mabanggit, magselos pa. Dahil hindi na ako nagsimula magbanggit ng pangalan. Anyway, yun, mga natatandaan ko to from, kung di ako nagkakamali, sa data analysis natin. Okay. So, si Garrido, yan, naalala ko yan. Pero again, dapat pala hindi na ako nagbanggit kasi baka may makalimutan lang ako. Okay. So, hindi ko pa kayo nakikita. Pero at least makausap ko man lang kayo online. Okay. So, that is, wag natin sana palipasin tong course na to na hindi ko kayo nakausap man lang. Okay. As we go along through this course. Okay. Ask questions, raise your inquiries, raise your concerns, especially if there is something that would bother you from working through the activities that I have assigned to you. Okay. Please do inform me about that. Okay. And don't make again, as sinabi ko kanina, don't make everything or don't try to inform me kapag last minute na. Especially if you are well reminded naman. Okay. Although still inform me if everything if something arises up. Okay? So, yun na nga, sinagad ko na yung oras para sa Friday na lang tayo mag-lesson talaga. Okay. So, I hope I made myself clear. Okay. Moving forward from this day, expect na meron tayong may mga i-upload ako dito sa ating class notebook. Okay. I'll be uploading something here sa content library. Okay. And that would contain yung lecture natin on complex numbers. Okay? Including your homework na rin. No, your homework na rin pala. Okay? So, sino naka-raise ng hands? May question pala siya. Nawala na siya. Okay. So, may questions ba? Itatanong lang ako, si Mr. Marquez, andiyan ba si Mr. Marquez?
Sir,
Okay na yung class notebook mo?
okay na po sir, mahina lang pala po yung net.
Okay, sige. So, ayun.
Thank you po sir.
Okay. So, sige. If wala na tayong questions, I think we can dismiss. Okay. And I'll see you on Friday for our session number 2.
Thank
Okay.
you sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you po.
Ingat kayo.
Thank you po, sir.
Sige. Leave the meeting pala ha.
Thank you po, sir.
Okay. Hmm?